All right, so I'm still working inside the Save for Web and Devices dialog box. And as you may recall, we're working on optimizing that asterman.ai file that's found inside the 12 exporting folder. And I've applied medium quality JPEG as well as 256 color GIF to this graphic, and so far GIF is winning by a mile where this low color, high contrast graphic is concerned. We don't have any of those terrible compression artifacts at work inside the GIF view, and the file is smaller. It's less than 15K as opposed to more than 24K in the case of the JPEG image. But we can get this file size down even smaller if we work at it. Not way smaller, but we're going to be able to shave away about 3K here. First of all, we don't need all these colors. So currently we've got the color set to 256 colors. If you switch over to the color table, we're not taking advantage of nearly all those colors because the entire bottom section is empty. If we had 256 colors, this entire color table view would be filled up with various color swatches. I'm going to go ahead and drop this guy down, let's say 4 colors. Let's just go ahead and try it out because we know we really have 3 colors inside of the illustration. We got black, we got white, we got blue, and that's it. So let's try 4 and see what happens here. And in case you're wondering why it jumps from 2 to 4 and then 8 and 16 and so on, these are bit depths. So a 1-bit graphic has 2 colors. That is black and white. And that's all you get. A 2-bit graphic, 2 to the 2nd power, gives you 4 colors. 3 bits, which is 2 to the 3rd power, gives you 8 colors, all the way up to, by the way, 8 bits of data per pixel, which is 2 to the 8th power, and hence 256 different color variations. All right, anyway, at 4 different colors here, it's the anti-aliasing that we end up really losing. In fact, this is pretty much equivalent to turning the anti-aliasing off, so it's not too much different. Apparently, we need more colors than that. And typically what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and switch up the list here. I'll go to 8 next and see what it looks like. By the way, notice though, the size of that graphic, it's less than 7K now. So it's teeny tiny. So I'll go ahead and try out 8 colors. And that ends up doing better, but we still have a lot of blue pixels around the edge of the trunk and the letters, and you might wonder why in the world that is. There is no blue down at the bottom of the tree, and there is no blue inside of those letters right there. That's all black text. It's just that look what Illustrator has to work with. It has no gray pixels. So you can see inside the color table that it's got black, it's got white, it's got transparent, which, you know what, we don't need transparent. Let's go ahead and turn transparency off. And as soon as we do that, notice we allowed that transparent color to become white and we got a new color in the list, but they're still all shades of blue. Even that very dark color there is still a very dark blue. So all of the anti-aliasing is going to show up as blue as well. Because this is a pretty attractive file size here at 10K, we may be able to get better results by changing the way in which Illustrator selects the colors inside the color table. So right now it's working with the selective option, which is ultimately a popularity contest. So it goes with the most popular colors inside the illustration. You can switch to adaptive, which is going to be a little more intelligent in terms of how it selects colors from the illustration. In our case, it really isn't doing much of a better job. You're not going to want to use restrictive, but you might want to try perceptual. And perceptual is really designed to give you better gradients and better transitions between soft details, but you never know, it might give us better results inside of this image. Well, turns out nothing really gives us better results. So we're going to have to take the number of colors up. And you can jump all the way to 16 if you want to, at which point things look pretty darn good, especially when perceptual is selected. So if you want to, you can try to see the difference between perceptual and, let's say, selective, which brings back some blues, incidentally, and adaptive, which takes away some of the blues, goes back to some neutral blacks right there. Let's check out the difference between adaptive and perceptual. We're going to have to look closely at the trunk, and they're pretty equivalent, actually. I'm not seeing a ton of qualitative difference there. So you might try out one or the other, but something else we can do to take that file size down, because notice it's jumped up to 12K, which is a little higher than I'd like. So the first thing I could do, incidentally, is go ahead and get rid of the dithering. We don't need dithering because we don't have a lot of different colors that we're trying to simulate. We've just got, once again, we've got white, we've got blue, we've got black, that's it. So we don't need Illustrator dithering the colors, it just needs these extra colors for the anti-aliasing, which is a different experience. So I'll go ahead and turn off dither. Things look pretty equivalent, they don't look that much different that way. And that also takes the file size down by a sliver of a K, just a few bytes, so that didn't make much of a difference. You can, by the way, employ lossy compression. If you want to, I'll go ahead and crank that up for you. And that makes a mess of the illustration, but it does get the file size down. Of course, that's not something I'm going to accept. As a rule of thumb, I never use lossy compression along with GIF. So go ahead and turn that guy off. Also leave interlacing off. That's another way of incrementally displaying the graphic as it loads on a page. It's ugly, it's useless. Web snap is not something that we need anymore. This was back in the days when people used to have 256 color monitors. Those virtually don't exist anymore. And matte is the color that fills in the transparency, which in our case is white, so that's just fine. So finally, what we're going to do here is click inside colors, and I'm just going to nudge that value down. So I'll just press the down arrow key, and I'll keep an eye on the preview and the file size option here. Notice I've gotten the file size down to 11K, and the roots are pretty neutral. So that's pretty darn good. I'll take it down another notch, press down arrow again, and I'm down to 13 colors. I'm below 11K now. And as soon as I take it down to 12 colors, I'm bringing back some of the blue in the roots. If I take it down to 11 colors, then I'm still seeing some blue. I'll take it down to 10 colors. I'm seeing blue. Down to 9 colors, I'm seeing blue, and so on. So you know what? 13 seems to be our guy. So I'll go ahead and take the value back up to 13 colors. And there is our color table. You can modify the color table if you want to. You can actually hand edit that table. So you could double click on one of these colors and change it if you want to. If you want to override a color, if you think you can do a better job than what Illustrator's come up with. That's going to take a lot of time and effort, by the way, so I don't really recommend it. It's not usually a very productive thing to do. At this point, I would say we have gotten this graphic as small as it's going to be. I'm going to click on the Save button. Of course, the GIF version of the image is selected, so I will save a GIF graphic. And I'm going to save this guy as Optimized Asterman, like so, just so that it has a different name than the Illustrator file. And I'll save it here inside the 12 exporting folder. Once again, instead of a space character, I went ahead and entered a hyphen. And then I'll click on the Save button, and I've optimized my second graphic. In the next exercise, I'm going to show you, even though GIF is really great at handling this graphic here, why Ping is even better.